This is what pesticides were made for. But there are also consequences of using them.
DDT was one of the first chemical pesticides and was used commonly. Following World War II, DDT was announced as a wonder chemical, a simple solution to controlling pests. However, because of its many negative effects and consequences, DDT was banned worldwide, but still permitted in small quantities in countries as needed. Even though the usage of DDT was illegalized, it takes over 15 years for the decomposition of DDT to complete, and the consequences are long-lasting.
Hello, and welcome to CSKZ's special program. I'm Carol Nathan, and today we will be looking at Point Pelee National Park and the issue of pesticides, namely DDT, that are used in the park. Point Pelee is found at the southernmost point in mainland Canada, which means that it enjoys one of the warmest climates in the country. It is one of the smallest national parks, with an area of 15 square kilometers. Due to Lake Erie's moderating water effect, Point Pelee has a constant temperature and not much precipitation. It is made up of marshes and forests, providing habitats for a large variety of organisms. There are around 70 species of trees alone, and nowhere else in Canada are there more reptiles and amphibians. Point Pelee is also known as a home to about 370 different species of birds, 4 of which are classified as rare, threatened, or endangered.
Hello, my name is Haley Wells, and this here is Dr. Eva Lauren, a scientist and expert at Point Pelee National Park. So, Dr. Lauren, can you explain to us what are the issues in Point Pelee?
Well, over 60% of the amphibian species have disappeared in Point Pelee National Park. However, other areas near the park, such as Lake Erie, have not experienced such a dramatic drop in amphibian species.
And so, do you know why this is happening? Is there a legitimate reason?
Environmental contamination with pesticides has caused the decline and extinction of amphibians.
Who is applying the pesticides? And why are they applying the pesticide if they had such terrible consequences to begin with?
Many years ago, the park, to keep black flies and mosquitoes under control, applied heavy dosages of pesticides and also applied DDT for controlling agriculture pests.
Was this normal? Did they know about the terrible results?
Yes and no. This was a common practice. However, later in 1993, the University of Windsor sampled some amphibian species and tested for pesticide contaminants. And unfortunately, shockingly high levels of organochlorine contaminants, including DDT, were found in many of the species. In fall of 1882, W.E. Sanders, a young naturalist from London, Ontario, traveled to Point Pelee's marshes. He was so taken in by the bird species and migrant organisms that he introduced the area to his friends. Later formed a club where they discussed the idea of setting aside Point Pelee as a bird sanctuary. One of the members later proposed to the government to make Point Pelee a national park. They mustered enough local support so that the federal government established Point Pelee National Park in May of 1918.
In 1998, Camp Henry in Point Pelee was closed down because some pesticide contaminants, including DDT, were found in the soil and groundwater. Now we will go to an interview with Old Man Fred, who used to go to Camp Henry.
I used to go to Camp Henry when I was a boy. I remember hiking, canoeing, kayaking, and bird watching with all the mosquitoes and black flies. There were always a lot of mosquitoes at Camp Henry, since it was always very warm and humid, and there wasn't very much rain. We were never free from mosquitoes. Plus the marshes and forests were breeding grounds for those pesky insects. We had to spray pesticides on everything. If I had known those pesticides would one day close Camp Henry, we would never have done it. I'd rather be bitten by 100 mosquitoes and black flies than see that count go.
So, is DDT toxic to humans? Does it affect us at all?
DDT is classified as moderately toxic and moderately hazardous, which means that it is harmful or fatal only if swallowed, inhaled, absorbed through the skin. For some people, it can also cause skin irritation or eye irritation.
So, what were some repercussions of the issue on Point Pelee?
Well, first of all, at Point Pelee, we offer many wildlife-related activities such as hiking, canoeing, kayaking, and most commonly, birdwatching. Since DDT is toxic to a wide range of living organisms, including many species of fish and amphibians, it threatens the wildlife in our park. DDT also causes eggshell thinning, which lowers the reproductive rate of certain bird species by causing egg breakage and embryo deaths. Fortunately, different birds have different sensitivities to DDT's chemicals. Waterfowl and songbirds are more susceptible to eggshell thinning than, let's say, the bald eagle.
Is it one of the major factors that cause this?
Yes, DDT is one of the major reasons for decline of these birds.
So, is there any solution to this issue? Can the community do anything to help?
Yes, actually, the government already outlawed the usage of DDT. Unfortunately, it's still gravely affecting the wildlife in the park. But I would like to ask everyone to be aware of the after effect of using pesticides. That's all, folks, and I hope you enjoyed our short program about Point Pelee National Park. See you soon!